There we go. And we're live. We're back in the most comfortable setup you can imagine. We're going to have a chalkboard thing here soon. Wife told you to go to bed. I said, no, I'm watching something. Perfect. That's the attitude we want, Victor. Get in a fight with your wife over this show. Amazing. Perfection. Okay, so we have, this is our product, apparently. This is our sponsor. So, Newt Nuggets. Newts don't eat them, just so you know, but my Cory cats love them. We have finally got someone to talk about termites. I had to go international to get someone. I don't know if they're shy people. I know termites are shy, but American termite keepers don't want to talk to me. So we've got Fillip. I'm going to call him Fillip because it's international, and that sounds international. I'm trying to make him laugh before we get it in here. We're going to talk about termites. He's got ants, all about the social insects. So I got 2 dream interviews out of the way in 1 week. So termites and bees. So we're going to bring him in right now and welcome Fillip. How are we doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And how are you doing?
Good. It's a little harder to hear you now. I don't know if you did something a little different.
I didn't change anything.
Okay, it just seems a little muffled. It's clear. It's just a little muffled. But
okay, I can turn the volume a bit down if you want.
We can leave it. That's fine.
Okay.
We can hear you clearly. It's just a little muffled. People can turn their volume up if they need to.
Okay.
And once in a while, I'll yell just to mess with them. So, is it Fillip or is it Fillip?
It's a Fillip. In here, it's spoken like Fillip. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Josh. So, Johannes is an alias that I used on Facebook to be able to have a job if any prospective job offers came through and saw my Facebook. My social media used to be a lot more bombastic. So thank you for coming on. Now, where are you exactly? Because I know I messed it up.
Well, I'm in my flat.
Okay, perfect.
Regular, panel building.
What country are you in?
Slovakia. Slovakia is like a kind of central to Eastern Europe, while the mentality is maybe a bit Eastern, but we like to say that we are Central Europe. No, but it's fine. I think we are Central Europe at all, and because Eastern Europe is like a Ukraine or more to Russia, but Russians are not Europeans for in our look or in our opinions, and not because of now the conflict and the war, but in general, it's not a European style of thinking and so on.
Got you. We're gonna get right into the war. Let's get right into it. Where are you from Ukraine? Because now that I know where Ukraine is, I'm a dumb American, and now that I know where the third largest country in the world is.
Yes. I'm I'm living in Bratislava. And Bratislava is the most western city of Slovakia and the capital. And our country is like 480 kilometers wide, and Ukraine is on our eastern border. So
that's what I was thinking. Okay. I was thinking you're on the western side of Ukraine, so they're on your eastern. Perfect.
Yes.
I know a very little bit of geography. Fantastic. Anyway, I just feel like it's fun. Every time my show hits, I'm always marveled by the internet. So every time my show hits a new country, I get very excited. So we had Germans, we had Canadians. Now I want to get some kind of like Thailand people to talk about beta fish, beta splendens, wild caught. Anyway, we are here to talk about termites specifically, but social insects in general. And that's something that I saw your photos today. You know way more about it than I do. I just know that they're interesting. I've only ever known them really as a pest until the last few years. I started to look into them as a food source for my ants, and then started to really get fascinated by their behaviors. So you posted a species on Facebook today that had that kind of clear. I'm sorry.
Yellow-necked termite, drywood termite, Calotermes flavicolis.
Okay, And they have the king and queen kind of looked similar to me. I couldn't really tell them apart.
Actually, yes. If I can start this topic,
Sure.
I would tell differences between termites because in general there are basal termites or primitive termites, and higher termites, and there's a big difference between them. And if you want to keep termites, you can the primitive one because they are easier to mate in captivity. The higher termites are very hard to how to say to thrive in long term. I don't know many people who had some high termite species for long nest for longer like 2 3 years at all. But
Oh
I
wow.
can
Okay.
explain. I can explain this more. So there are like 3,000 species of termites described up to date, and the majority of them are those higher termites, around 2,100 or 2,004 600, something like this. And the
Okay.
remaining are basal termites. And here are, for example, drywood termites, which are pests also in USA, and they are worldwide pests. Pardon. And there are subterranean termites or dampwood termites, which is
Okay.
maybe a fine common name for you and your audience. And these both groups, like subterranean or drywood, are primitive termites,
Okay.
and they're also the biggest pests for the human population for our wooden architecture.
The drywood termites are the ones that chew houses apart.
Well, the drywood termites are very good in colonizing. They will infest house very easily, let's say, but the worst pests are subterranean termites or
Okay.
Chinese Formosan termites.
What makes them
And
a worse pest? Like,
yes, here is the deal. Those those drywood termites, I maybe can show you. I don't know if it will be visible. Well, they are very good at colonizing.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you see the animals?
I can see the big one in the middle of the lens there. Yeah, yeah. Is that a
Yes.
king or a queen?
Well, hard to differ.
Okay, okay.
I cannot say from you like this.
You definitely have a pair there. So the one in
Yes.
that little bowl, is that the male?
Hard to tell.
Okay, okay.
Really hard to tell like this. Okay. Now they are both.
This, I like this setup. Yeah, it looks like so. This is a new pair.
Yes, this pair was settled about October or November, and they
Okay.
already have eggs, and they should have nymphs or
Ants, ants.
not nymphs, larvae, but I cannot see any larvae in here. But the other colonies from the same settlement at the same date, they
Okay.
already have larvae. So that's it. Okay, and now how to differentiate those termites? Well, in general, those basal termites, their nests are like galleries. If those are drywood termites, their nests are in the wood, in some log, or under the bark, or firstly under the bark and then deeper in the trunk, or they are in the soil, which is in contact with wood, and they can make some tunnels to the new sources of wood.
Okay.
So these are basal termites. So maybe I can draw it because that will be easier for both of us.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. I found to get termites and insects in a good setting where you can actually see them. So I had one of
Yeah.
my ants crawl across the camera on Tuesday in the middle of the show. And my guest was like, "What just happened?" I said, "Oh, it's just one of my ants."
My fans would kill me if my ants would escape.
My wife doesn't know. So far, they literally someone asked me before we went live today, that the ants. So this thing here that I have, if you guys haven't seen that, this is trellis for ants. They can't get up to the trellis, but they can get to this wood, right? So then if you see like these little, where is it? This little gray cup here, and this one here, there's food in there. There's 3 of those actually. This one has fish food, this one has a roach, and this one has a piece of hamburger. And then I was trying to test to see what they would eat. So then I have these bowls too that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to put those air plants in here. But this has a little, like a soda cap of corned beef hash, like the canned, really shitty corned beef hash. I had a bad day. When I have a bad day, one of my coping mechanisms is to eat shitty food. So then afterwards I feel better.
Like dopamine booster.
Yeah, you like make yourself feel worse, so then afterwards you kind of feel better. Like, at least I'm not eating this shitty canned food. It's a weird psychological dumb trick to play on yourself, but it actually works. It got me back in the pace to do the show. So
I'm ready with the diagram.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you can see it. You can see it. So if we talk about basal termites, their nests are connected with their source of food. If we talk about drywood termites, Calothermitidae is the Latin name for genus.
Okay.
So this is a wood log. Here is the nest and the colony, and the mass or the volume of the wood limits the size of the colony. So, for example, if there's a small branch under the tree, laying under the tree, and a royal pair, a king or queen, or both of them ideally, would infest the small branch and make their colony in it, they would make their colony. The colony will reach the size just as is the amount of food of the wood and of the branch. If you understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's limited by their resources.
Resources. Yes, exactly. And those are basal termites. If we talk about subterranean termites, they can have some nest within the ground. Like here is some galleries and nest structures.
So they have nests in the ground, almost like ants. Yeah.
Yes, and they can make even kilometers or mile-long ways to the source of wood. So if here is like a 500 meters log far away, they will also make their way to it.
Wow, that's impressive. So from their main nest, they'll branch out. You're saying kilometers.
Yes,
to get to more
usually
food.
Usually hundred of meters. But what pest control, my friends who are pest control told me that they can do even kilometers.
Okay.
So there's one nest which infests like a whole part of the city, whole district. And this is the case of the Formosan or Chinese Formosan termite, or of the subterranean termite Reticulitermes, if the name is somehow similar to you or to our viewers.
I know that they're going to Google it. My viewers Google stuff afterwards, like, "Oh my god!" And then they'll message me like, "Did you know this about that?" And it's like, "You didn't either. You did. You just looked it up."
Okay. Can I put the names into the chat so people can Google it? Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so drywood termites are genus Calothermitidae, and subterranean termites, genus Reticulitermes. Those are the most genus Calothermitidae. Well, that's not the genus. That's the subfamily or family, but never mind. And then the Chinese Formosan termite, Proptotermes formosanus. Okay, that's it. So those are the pest species. In general, basal termites are pest species because the human wooden architecture is usually a source of nutrition, very accessible for them, easily to access. But if we talk about higher termites, Termitidae in general, which is a family which is quite branched nowadays. Those are like 200 or 2,400 or 2,100 species, and this is the real majority of the termite species,
Okay.
and they are very specific in what they pick and what they eat. Usually, they have central nests. You know, the one you know from a documentary in the African savanna or
Oh,
in
right, where they make
Australian
those
bush.
giant, yeah, they make those
Yes,
giant
yes,
tree-sized nests. Yeah.
and they make their ways to the nearest trees, but those aren't just trees. What are they eating? They should specialize to eat cow dung. You know,
Okay.
the dung of herbivores in general. They would eat just dried grass, and in tropical areas like rainforest, they would eat lichens. They would eat moss,
Okay.
or they would eat soil. And then there's a thing that from those higher termites, there's like more than half of the species are soil feeders. They
Okay.
literally eat soil or huminous soil, which is sometimes as a remain or like waste material in the nests of the different of another termite species. So there's a literally termite colony living in one big central nest. This nest can be, for example, also on a tree trunk,
Okay.
and there are more termite colonies living within the one species nest, which are just invading the nest, are not in contact with the original or the not mother colony, but the original colony, the host colony,
Okay.
but
Okay.
they are eating their rubbish, like old shit,
Yeah.
and
Sure. Sure.
all the waste material
Okay.
in the rubbish chambers.
So they're almost
So,
symbiotic. So they would do like for what we have our springtails. I have springtails and isopods with my ants, and they eat the waste and the rubbish.
well, the termites in general are a very good organism for modeling symbiosis because they eat wood, they eat plant material, but the plant material consists very much of cellulose, of hemicellulose, and of lignin, and those are three carbohydrates
Okay.
which are not digestible for mammal. No, not mammal. Sorry, for those three molecules are very hard to digest for any living organism on the earth, or not any. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to be a bit expressive, but in general, there aren't few organisms that can eat the cellulose or digest cellulose, lignin, or hemicellulose. If we
Right.
talk about animals, we can talk about herbivores, like a cow, like a deer, like goat, or buffalo, and if we talk about termites or millipedes, they are very similar. Or when we talk about termites, they are very similar to herbivores, because termite itself is a symbiote, is very good, as I said before, very good example of symbiosis. You know what symbiosis?
Yeah, they're working hand in hand.
Yes,
So
is
two organisms as like a partner relationship. So they
yes,
both benefit, mutually beneficial.
yes, it's a mutual cohabitation,
Yeah. Yeah.
mutual living. And the termite, if you take a look into the termite body, the biggest part of the termite body is its abdomen. This is poor. Okay, no
We're not
problem.
going to judge you on your art. Nobody's done any art yet live on the show, so we're not going to judge you on it.
Yes. So this is the termite. This is the head, the thorax with legs, and this is the abdomen. An
Perfect.
abdomen of termites is usually the biggest part of their body if we
Okay.
talk about worker. and that's because they have very big gastrointestinal tract, very big, like a gaster, the how to say that? Oh, not the belly. Oh, well, very big intestines.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and in those intestines, they have symbiotic protozoans, so small symbiotic bacteria, and these bacteria are working like a fermentation chamber, or like
Okay.
they tear down the cellulose to carbohydrates, to hydrogen, to acetate. Acetate is a basic biological compound for termites as a fuel, as energy, as a source of energy, which is used more in their metabolize, and they tear it apart to methane. Yes, if we if we talk about cattle in our agricultural industry,
Okay.
we understand all those cows which actually the human population have on the earth. The termites and diplopoda, so millipedes, produce 2 times more volume of methane than produce the whole cattle
That's
on the
crazy.
earth.
That's
And
crazy.
we blame that cattle on the the change of on the climate change. But in general, those termites and diplopoda produce twice more. But this is not something like this is not an argument. This is not a fact into the argument that okay, but we blame the cows and the industry, but let's talk termites. No,
Yeah.
it's just the natural fact, because termites and millipedes are most one of the most important decomposers of the plant tissues in the world. If you would decompose plants or fallen trees in the everywhere on the earth, just with the function of bacteria and fungi, that would take literally years. But termites will will infest the fallen trunk or the foliage of leaves, and they will digest them, and chew them, digest them very fast, and they
Okay.
will build their own bodies from the carbon placed in the leaves. Oh, and my point is that termites are also very big source of food for other organisms in their ecosystems. Um,
Oh yeah.
so they literally transform the carbon from the plant tissue to their bodies, and then the termites will will become as a food for some insectivorous animals by themselves. If you get my point.
Yeah, and it makes their waste, that bacteria you're talking about, the protozoa, makes their waste usable for other plants as like fertilizer or other detrivores. What's my computer doing? So it helps to break it down and transform that cellulose and those otherwise undigestible or indigestible cells or matter, I guess,
Yes, yes,
into
exactly.
something more easy to use.
Yes.
So I think it's fascinating. I wish we could find a way to harness. I was just reading about the methane a couple months ago, about the methane that they produce out of those nests, that the African ones we were talking about on the savannah, that have those gigantic nests, because the design of those nests that they just do instinctively is crazy. They produce their own heating and cooling. So it heats the nest, it cools the nest, it vents the methane, because otherwise they would just all suffocate. So it brings fresh air into the nest. It's just by the design of it, and it's insane that these such tiny organisms can have that much. I guess just instinctively, for it to be an instinct is crazy to me.
Yes, well, I've read some papers on the instinct of nest building before, but I don't think I can express it very easily. It's not a big Well, we can think that there's something like some mind behind the termite mounds building. Oh, I already finished it. Oh, well, a human can think that there's something like logical behind that or some mindset, but in general, it's part of their just instinct, because when one termite see that there's some structure, like here is a tunnel, and workers are walking in, and when here is some, and if this tunnel, this is just an very dumb example. If the workers are in the tunnel which leads to the nest, and this tunnel is in the wall of the nest, and there's some airflow or something like this, they will instinctively start to close the tunnel.
Right, right.
Yes, but this is just a very very poor and a very dumb example. But we shouldn't find anything logic or anything like a clever mind behind their architecture. But yes, this is something very amazing, because those mounds of African termite macrotermes, and I think the same genus is also in Southeast Asia. They literally have something like a cooling system when the hot air is like exhaled by the nest out, so it goes off, and dry on cool air is going to the lower parts of the mount. So it's something like AC air conditioning system.
Right, right, or at least a good ventilation system.
Yes, yes.
It just boggles my mind that they can do that. That they just do it. They just do it.
Yes,
And yeah, like you
yes,
said, it's not like they have a map or there's like a room where they have engineers. They're, all right, Jim, get over to the west sector. We need more ventilation.
yes.
They just know. They just know, and they just do it.
But
So
but this is something which appears with the nest growth, because small, they don't need something like they don't need this system. But as the nests get bigger, and it usually gets bigger from the ground, because the royal pair is digged in the ground in something what is called the central chamber,
okay,
and the mount is growing by years of the colony growth, from below to the up. So this is something which instinctively appears in the system, in the whole structure of the nest.
well,
I
because as
think.
they grow, their needs change. Like I found that with my ant colonies as well, or you found it too with your ant colonies. Like as they get bigger, their needs change, and they change their structures. They change the way that they behave.
Yes, they
So,
are more aggressive when they are bigger.
oh, this colony is they're bastards. So I've taken some bites today because I walked into this thing like an idiot, and it disturbed their feeding. So, but like as they, I'm just amazed by these social insects, the things that the structures that they create for themselves are just crazy. Do they have? I know that a lot of scientists or people who study ants or who are interested in ants have done the studies to find the nest. Like they're using sonar now, ground penetrating sonar. But I know that they've used molten metal in the past to fill the nest and then dig it up later to
Uh,
see what it looks like three-dimensionally. Have they done any studies on these termite nests to see like the
well,
formation of them?
well, I don't think there will be any metal casting,
Okay.
but for sure they did, because there are some typical structures for among different genesis, different groups of termites. there are several types of the nests. Like some nests are underground, nests are underground, below the surface, but some nests are on the ground. Like for example, the Nesut termite, Nesuti termes. I will put it to the chat. And some nests are situated in the center of the hollow tree, like a Chinese Formosan termite is making
Okay.
this. There's a hollow tree, and there's a big, maybe even 1 meter tall and half the meter fat nest of oval shape in the tree. And this is the central nest, and those Formosan termites are making their way to another trees and to houses and so on, and making damage. So
Unreal. Unreal. I can't imagine. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. One nest, and they're sending out tunnels for kilometers to find more food. So if that, like you said, is in a city, infesting a city or a town, how do you
yes.
find the main nest? Like, how do you? It's all underground in these tiny little tunnels. How do you find the main nest? That has to be
Well, in a reticulitermes, there are some reports on the behavior of the whole colony, uh, within its first years of the growth.
okay.
Because as the colony gets bigger, they go deeper into the terrain. Oh, if I remember correctly, it's about 1.5 meters above the
Okay.
ground. Well, above is up. Sorry,
Okay. Okay.
below the
Above.
ground. Below the ground. Sorry,
Okay.
in the terrain, in the soil. So let's say for reticulitermes, the subterranean termite, which is very common pest both in North America and Europe.
Okay.
They are the structure of the mature nest is unknown, but what actually we know is that their colonies are used to have like branches. So, for
Okay.
example, when the nest is below, when the royal pair will settle their nest under this tree trunk, they will proceed deep ground, where's the central nest, but they will make another like daughter colony,
Okay.
like the colony version 2.0 in another tree trunk. And this is possible because these lower termites have neotenics.
Okay.
Did you came along across this word before?
I did, and then I came across that they can produce more reproductives. They can have
Yes,
their
yes,
some larvae transform into reproductives.
yes.
Um,
Oh, neotenics are literally like juvenile adults.
okay,
Because in termite world, in the termite colony, uh, it's just a royal pair, just the pair of those imagos, which are truly adult, and they can reproduce. The majority of the colony consists of workers, and workers are infertile, and they are juvenile their life is long.
okay, so
Sorry
they
for my
stay
English.
juvenile.
Yes,
Okay,
they stay in the juvenile stage for whole of their life.
okay,
Yes, but in some basal termites, in reticulitermes or drivotermites, there's a possibility for workers to become neotenics, juvenile reproductives.
so almost any worker could become a neonetic.
Yes, yes, exactly.
That's crazy that they would know. Oh, hey, we need a queen. We're over here. We don't have a queen and a king. We need them. Let's
Yes,
you are the new king and queen. Let's do this.
yes, that's it. That's what literally happens.
That's so strange. What stops them from all of them becoming kings and queens? Like what sets it to be? Is it a pheromone thing, or they don't know? Right? It's got to be a
Oh,
pheromone thing.
yes, yes, it's based. If I'm right, it's based on pheromones. Because this happens when the colony is big enough and will reach new sources of food, And so when there's a tree trunk in the distance, like 100 or 200 kilometers, the part of the workers are remaining contact with the mother colony through these connective tunnels,
Okay.
which are very long. But there can something happen that these tunnels will get destroyed or something like this, and the remaining workers in this tree trunk will be like population of, I don't know, 1,000 of termites, and from those that 1,000 number will become like 20 or I don't know 30, 40, 50 workers neotenics will mold into the neotenic stage, and after a few weeks they will mate and they will lay eggs, and here we will have a new colony.
So crazy.
So, and
So
this is
crazy.
the very big potential for the species to be invasive or to be pest species, because the colony itself somehow gets infinite life, if you
Yeah.
understand.
Yes, if just a few of them survive, or a small number of them survive, you could get a whole new colony. Whereas if
Yeah,
it's ants, like an ant colony or a bee colony, if you kill the queen, they're
the
done.
colony is gone. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they might live a little while, but they're done. 6 months later, tops, and they're done.
yes. So that's the basic uh, strategy of basal termites, and this is why they become very easily as a pest species, damaging human architecture and structures.
I will
No.
say I found termites last year. I was looking for them, and I was doing some gardening where I wasn't looking for termites, and I found some in some wood that had washed up near our house. And I went scorched earth. I just went out with the bug spray, and I was like, no way. I put the bug barrier up. I was like, forget it. There's no way I'm gonna risk it. Sorry for all the insects in my garden, but this can't happen.
Well, this is very dangerous thing, uh, because they can infest your house. They even can be in your house literally, and you should not know. And you
Okay.
will notice just about like after 10 years when when your floor will fall down.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I do. I look for. I'm crazy. I look for little bits of sawdust. Like, will there be a sawdust? Why is this
Yes,
here?
that's it. But the sawdust is produced mostly by drywood termites, because they produce fecal pellets, which are like small poops,
Yeah.
and they bring it out of the nest. But I don't know about subterranean termites, because their shit is usually more of a liquid stage,
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't really know.
because colony usually have some source of the water, uh, which is accessible for the colony, and then uh, I will oh,
Yeah.
because with the colon. Sorry, I lost my idea. Yes,
Sorry.
the subterranean termite colony usually have some sort of water which is accessible for it, and this is the way how they keep themselves hydrated. Because for
Okay.
termites, the biggest problem is the hydration in our interiors, and they would just dry out if they are exposed to open space, and this is why they need those closed tunnels where they have their own microclimate with higher humidity and the colony scent, the
Oh
colony
wow.
pheromones.
Okay.
But if they have some source of water which they can use or drink from, they don't have problem reaching even dry wood and dry parts of your house through those tunnels, because the workers are hydrated, and they will spread the liquid by trophallaxis. So
Wow.
But this is just general info for more for better uh, look into the pest control and things like this. It's better, to ask a professional, because those are informations I just picked from literature and from videos and from communicating with pest control guys. But if anybody wants to know more, they should aim to the pest control services.
Oh yeah, don't use this show for pest control advice. Just contact a professional. Yeah, don't. Well, I learned it on ISO Buddies. No, you didn't. So call someone who knows what they're doing. This is not a do-it-yourself. This is not a DIY video. That's Chris Biggs. So that's not our channel. So no, I just think they're fascinating. So now you're talking about higher termites. So these are more specified, like more evolved to one specific.
Higher termites, for example, cannot produce those neotenics. Usually, some species do, but those are just certain species or certain genuses. But the majority of the higher termites cannot produce neotenics, and they are very reliable on their queen and king.
Okay, so they're more like an ant
same,
colony.
Yes, it's the same as with ant or with honeybee colony. Well, honeybees have some strategies how to grow up a new queen if they lose the old one, but that's a different story. So for the high termites, yes, there's no chance for the colony to survive if they lose their queen or a king. How long do you think that termite royal pair live up to?
Now I'm going to take an educated guess and say it's a little bit species dependent and genus dependent, but I would
Yes.
say the average is like 25 to 30 years.
Yes, yes. For basal termite, it can be like 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay.
If we talk about Calothermitides, so drywood species, for example, these Calothermes flavicolis I was showing before, I can show them again because they're so nice.
They're so
and
nice.
and for this, they can live up to 12 years or 15 years in the captivity. So I think the same is in the nature.
Let's see. There we go. There we go.
Yes, here are the boats.
Oh wow. Now how long do they stay in this little
Ah,
matchbox?
there's a larvae, but
I see that. They're
there was a
the little white rice
yes,
flecks,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's larvae.
Okay. To get right like this on my computer.
Well, in this block of wood, they can stay for like 1 or 2 years.
Wow. Okay.
But I usually transfer. I usually uh, offer them a bigger block after 1 year, and what I would do is just I put this wood block onto a bigger wood block and put it into a small box with wet perlite, wet sand, or any wet substrate on the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay.
But I would avoid contact of the wood with the substrate, so it won't get over soaked with water, and there will be more the air humidity provided for the animals than the wood humidity. But uh, I have some clues that they also need humid wood. That it's not just as the common name says, dry wood species. Uh, those dry wood species also like humid wood in some parts of the year during some seasons.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I would guess sometimes in different seasons they can't help but be in wet wood or damp wood.
yes, yes, yes.
So now they take to living trees as well, right? It's not just dead wood.
Oh, some termites also damage the living trees, but what's the part of the tree which is living? It's just I will make another sketch.
I'm going to make all my guests do this from now on. I'm going to
Sorry.
send them a whiteboard. I'm going to send all my guests a whiteboard so that they can do sketches for us during the show.
Well,
A quick Pictionary.
it's easier to explain for me like that, you know. So, for example,
Yeah, it's working really well.
if we cut through the tree trunk, you will find the wood itself, the wood mass, you know.
Yeah.
And this wood is usually you can also divide on the central wood and the peripheral wood, and then there's the water leaking tissue. I cannot translate it to English, but the tissue which is live and which transfer the water.
Okay.
And then you have the bark. You know,
Right. The skin,
this is
basically.
very stupid, but it's
Sure.
very easy to explain. Yes. So most termites prefer dead and in some stage decomposed wood. So we can talk about fallen logs, fallen tree trunks, fallen branches laying on the terrain, but dry wood termites, for example, or also I think Chinese formason termite would infest living wood, but they will eat just this part. You know, this what is a central wood and the dead wood on periphery. They
Okay.
won't they won't attack the bark or the living part. That's what I know. But there are some termites like Darwin giant termite from Australia, Mastotermes darwiniensis. If you are common with the name, I will tape the name here.
Google is going to blow up after this.
And okay, thank you.
Definitely not stupid. I think the stupid just got lost in translation. I think I don't think of it as stupid. I think you mean maybe simple drawings, but
Yes.
um
No, the living part of the tree is the part under the bark. Sorry, which transfer the water, and that's the wood which that's the growing part. There are growing cells, you know, and there's and the central part is like old dead material.
inside. Okay.
Yes, inside.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back to my to the things I was talking now before. Uh-huh.
The higher termites.
High termites, yes. Just the seconds before I skip, I
Yes.
got back to the bark. Uh,
So are the higher termites more specialized? Where it seems like the basal termites are kind of generalist
oh
so
yes,
far.
yes, and the high termites. And this is also the reason why you would hardly or even if keep them for a long time. Oh, they need special sources of food. A very big part of high termites are specialized for picking lichens and the mousse from the bark of a tree, and you know those are some specific types of lichen living just in the tropical rainforests. You know,
Okay.
it's not the same lichen as you can find in the temperate or subtropical area maybe. That's the one point. um, Another part from the hard termites, they are eating um, grass, dried leaves, and they are picking them like leaf cutter ants. They are
Okay.
picking and bringing them back to their nest. This is for me, for example, some hodothermes, if I'm correct, or yes, hodothermes can go, and these termites live also in arid areas, like almost in deserted areas. This is very interesting, or in savannas, and they have very big workers, and they workers have sclerotized bodies, so they won't get dehydrated so easily, and they even walk on the open rails on the ground in savannas or in bushes, so you can observe them from a distance. But I think they usually dwell outside during the night, maybe. But I have seen some photos from the day activity, and I'm not so educated in this topic. But those are grass and leaves feeding species.
Wow. Okay. All right.
And
I
they
didn't
are,
realize they did that too. So they're major detrivores too. For
yes,
okay.
yes, for the habitat of savanna or bush, yes, they are detritivores. And then there's those termite inquilines. I will write the name. Inquilines. Cavitermes, Neocapritermes, Capritermes, if I'm correct, if I remember it well. And those are those termites which have not small colonies, but they are eating out the debris and all the material from a central nest of other species.
Okay. Okay.
So I can draw. I had a cavitermes at home, or cavitermes. I had at home like 5 years ago from French Guiana. I think yes, French Guiana was the origin. And for example, this is a tree trunk, and this is some higher termite nest, like I don't know, Nasutitermes or
Okay. Like one of those.
Odopsina.
Looks like a tumor on the tree. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And the nest of the hard termites have its own structures, own galleries and chambers and stuff like this. And within this nest, or if the nest gets abandoned, and because it's old, the colony don't use it anymore, there come the inquiline termites, and they will make their own nest in the old nest, but they
Okay.
won't infest the whole structure, but they will eat this part, and then they will reach and eat this part, and so on.
Oh wow. Okay. So they'll just use it bit by bit.
They will eat the debris out of the chambers. But I'm not a field entomologist. I don't have a uh, own experience with this. This is just something I have read from materials, from publications, and what my termite friends told me. But
Fantastic.
then the majority of the high termites are sole feeders.
Okay.
So pardon, this was like a termite species living in a host termite nest, termite inquilines, but the majority are soil feeders, and those termites are living may have a central nest, but they are living in for example, soil, and they are eating just the soil itself. They
Okay.
can also reach some wood, and eat maybe the wood, but their main source of nutrition is soil. And from this soil, they eat. We were talking about those three basic components of wood: cellulose, hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin. And the cellulose itself is digestible for herbivores, like big mammals, like
Okay.
I said before. But the hemicellulose and lignin are undigestible for herbivores, if I'm correct, and they are digestible just for few enzymes and organisms which are producing them, and those are mostly termites in the tropical areas.
Okay.
Yes. So if you would, for example, if you would mill down the wood from the nature,
Okay.
you can get the wood dust. If you will if you will mix this wood dust with the soil and leave it for like half an year or 1 year, the cellulose will be gone maybe it would
Okay.
maybe get digested by the bacteria, which are naturally in the ground. But when it comes to hemicellulose and lignin, it will remain there.
Okay.
So some termites can got into the substrate, and eat it out and digest the cellulose, the hemicellulose and lignin. But this is, also very shitty and basic explanation how does this works. Termites are a very nice topic uh, for many science. For many scientists, many entomologists, termites are a very good topic to express climate change. The ecosystem, the nutrient and energy cycles within the ecosystem, for the carbon cycles, or for the decomposition, of wood and so on. So this is just my very shallow explanation of the very huge and
Sure.
very interesting topic. But it's really like it's really like the termites are topic when you can find very very amazing facts, amazing things. You can aim into different areas, and you will find very interesting results or of science and so on.
I mean, I think it's so fascinating. Now, how do they? So obviously, the king and queen never leave, and they probably have a soldier caste or something that guards them, right? There's
Yes,
probably some
yes.
soldiers or whatnot that guard them. So now, who do they feed like trophallaxically through like other social insects?
Oh, yes, they do. What we know from ants or the bees or wasps is stomodial trophallaxis. So it's from mouth to mouth.
Yes.
That's what every ant keeper, I hope, know about ants. But for termites, there works also coprodial trophallaxis.
Which one's
Anus
this?
to anus to mouth.
Anus.
Yes, and this is the way.
Nice.
This
Nice.
is this is the way how they get their pre-digested food, let's say, or
I mean,
the
that would do it.
nutrients and the food matter. So this is the way how they do it and how they get their symbiotic microflora. Because when we talk about the termite ontogenesis, so not
Okay.
evolution of the whole species, but the growth of one termite individual. I will again use my amazing whiteboard for it.
I'm hoping so hard that we get a drawing of termite ass to mouth. That is so
No, no,
great.
no. I will explain one very nice thing. For example, every human have like 1 kilogram of bacteria of a microflora in his gut.
A kilogram. Wow, that's
Almost
impressive.
one
That's
kilogram, and they also I have to find the word. Uh, um, this microflora you have in your gut, it affects if you are obese or if you are slim,
okay.
or if you are depressed, if you tend to be depressed or not, because they are making they are synthesizing uh, base compounds of neurotransmitters, for example.
Wow.
You have like a ghost in yourself, which modulates your thinking and your appearance and so on. So this is also a very
Wow.
interesting topic. uh, and the termites are the same, but when the termite will emerge from the egg, ta-da.
Ta-da! Victor's the
uh,
best. Victor's been translating metric to
Nice.
European or not European, but empirical. Imperial.
So this is the egg. The termite have hemimetabolic lineage, so they don't have a larva pupae stage in
Okay.
their life cycle. So there comes larva. Larva is a small termite with very big head, and it can walk. but larvae have very small mandibles, so it cannot chew the wood.
Okay.
So it have to be fed by workers, by elder stages.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
So and now larva can become a worker. Mandibles.
Okay.
Oh my god. and and those are workers which are already infested with the protozoans, which have protozoans, and that microflora in their abdomen. So
Okay.
they literally share their microflora with the larvae by that coprodeal or stomadeal prophylaxis. But the coprodeal is the main source, I think. So
Okay.
they
Makes
infest
sense.
the elders infest the larvae, which are sterile with the protozoans, and the larva can then digest the cellulose and the food material um,
So they're
given
not.
by workers by itself.
So they're not actually born with it. They have to get the protozoans from their
Yes, from elders.
hive mates. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and this is. Do you know the giant Australian rhino cockroach? Rhinoceros
Yes.
cockroach,
Yes.
Macropanes rhinoceros. I have some down there.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yes, and they are working the same. They live in a pairs. There's somehow a subsocial. They're not a true social, eusocial like the termites.
Okay.
They're subsocial. They are on their way to the sociality. Yes. So
Social cockroach.
they live in a pairs in a burrows, and the mature animals, mainly the female, is bringing leaves down to the burrow.
Okay.
Uh, then she and then sorry, I'm losing my ideas.
That's okay.
And then after some time, she bring up the litter of like 10 to 15 to 20 nymphs or larvae,
Okay.
and she feed them also by coprodeal prophylaxis, and but those larvae are mostly fed in first stages by her fecal pellets, by her poo.
Okay. Okay.
And this is the way how they infest themselves with microflora, with protozoans, and the way how they can later start eating leaves and digest them because they have the hardware for it. Let's say.
So amazing. Just
Yes,
so
it's
amazing.
it's really amazing with the insect and with this stuff. Okay,
I
so
just
that's it.
unreal.
Yes.
So then they what was the issue with pheromones? I think we got over that. We went over how they feed their brethren, because you don't see them bringing wood into. But you said there's termites that are like the leafcutter ants, so they're bringing leaves into the nest.
Oh, well, I think you can when it comes to those hodothermes, for example, termites from arid areas of the world. I think you can see them literally bringing the leaves and foliage and the grass back to their nest. There are also a big pests in the areas where they occur.
Okay.
But in general, termites are bringing their food. If I'm right, maybe this doesn't suit for the lichen feeding species, but they usually. But when it comes to basal termites, because this is the group I work with and I have experienced, they are bringing their food literally in their gut, in their abdomen,
Okay. So they do
and
it.
this is the way how they transport it to the colony and to the
Okay.
royal pair.
And they're mostly basal termites. Mostly are just eating wood, right? The cellulose from
Yes,
whatever source they can get it from.
yes, and the halterites is more specific plant material, lichen mosses, cow dung, and the majority of haltermites is soil because the soil in the areas where they occur like tropical rainforests, is very rich in hemicellulose and lignin. So this is the those are molecules they are decomposing or they are digesting.
That's fantastic. I just can't get over how integral they are, how necessary termites are to the planet. Like for so many ecosystems that they're in, they support it basically. They're that base food species that does so much. Like their bodies feed higher organisms, and their breaking down of all the material that would just pile up and pile up and pile up. Obviously, if
Yes,
they weren't there to break it down,
yes,
and
yes.
it turns it into usable nutrients again for other plants and other creatures to digest. So they're just great for every area that they're in except your house.
Yes, that's it. They're like ecosystem engineers,
I like that. I like
if
that.
if I said the word properly.
I think so. Um, I'm pretty sure you did. If not, it's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out later. I'll get the subtitles. We'll mix them. Um, Now I was going to ask about their photophobic. I know that some are so photophobic that they won't go out in light. So there's a species that we have here. I was looking around my house, around the base of my house is like this high concrete before it goes to wood or siding. So I was looking for. I heard they make little
The connective
tunnels.
tunnels, yes, to the source of
Yes.
wood.
So instead of just climbing up the wall, they won't just climb up the wall. They'll make this tunnel, like so they can go up without being exposed to the light.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a typical behavior.
Is that a phobophobia or a photophobia? Like they're afraid they are harmed or they don't like light, or is it
Oh,
just
well, yes, but there are several factors. They like spaces which are where the air is standing,
okay?
which is a space which is filled with their scent, with a higher relative humidity, so they can feel safe. And mostly they're hiding from predators and from external world. They
Okay,
won't go, they won't enter the house or enter the wood unnoticed by any external predators. So that's the point, to expel, to be hidden from anything that can eat them in general.
okay. I thought it was almost all because of the. That makes absolute sense. I thought it was almost all because of their um, sensitivity to light. So, but then you have yours out, just out in the light. They don't care. So they don't seem to be agitated at all by it. So probably more by being moved around than the actual light change, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Well, in some higher termites in rainforests, you can literally see their railways to the source of the food, like you
Okay.
see leafcutter ants. But in those basal termites, majority of them is making connective and protected tunnels to reach their food. So you won't see them very easily.
So you're looking for tunnels, not so much termites, if you go out to look for them in the wild.
Yes, so basically, there's also this also for me a story. How did I find or came across termites? Well, when I was in elementary school, every summer we used to be like 10, 14 days at Greece, at the Greek island Corfu, and this is
Okay.
one of the northest Greek islands. Well, actually, it's the northest Greek island, and it's the most green one. There are it's very planted.
Okay.
Well, and I was walking around to the seashore every day looking for ants. Literally every day, like 1 or 2 times, I made like 1, 2, 3 kilometers. Well, usually less. Uh, Across the seashore, and I was looking in the sand dunes for the some ant species, and there were some living in a straw, grass,
Okay.
grass bodies. There were some ant colonies and so on. And one time I was getting back from such adventure, and there was some um, how to say that, there was a wood pointing out from the sand, from the substrate.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is like 10 or 20, 10 meters from the sea itself. The wood will be very salty. And is there anything I can find in it? I don't think so, But I was bored, so I dug up the wood from the sand, and I crunched it. I
Sure.
destroyed it somehow, and there appeared like white ants, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Is this some white component to species, or what the hell is this?" And then I realized I'm looking at termite colony, and every year I was packing, my end stuff with me, like many test tubes, petri dishes, eggs house store for, what's eggs house store?
No, no.
It's a tube with plastic tube. It's a big tube connected with plastic tubes and with a net which prevents you from
Oh,
inhaling
yes,
the
yes.
ants. And this
Okay.
is for collecting, insects in general. And this
Yes.
and tweezers and optic lens and all this stuff I was bringing every summer to the location we were having holiday in, and I googled species of ants and animals I would be able to find there, and bring my stuff, to catch them and so on. But I wasn't prepared for termites because I just forgot. I knew they were there, but I forgot. So now, I was there looking at the termites, and the feeling that I found the insect I was very enthusiastic about, and I wanted to find them, but I totally forgot to bring anything, to pick the termites, to destroy the wood or something like this. And I was like, "Oh, this is an amazing insect," and I don't have gear for picking it. So what I did, I picked it was some kind of a branch or a root. I put it into a plastic bag, and I
Okay.
destroyed it later in our apartment, and transferred the termites to the petri dish, and brought them back home to Slovakia through a plane. So this was the story, and I don't know. For me, it's a funny story because we our apartment was the first floor, and on the floor, which was with the surface, which was below us, on the bottom, uh, our neighbors from Slovakia got robbed out, and
Oh, okay.
the robber is the proper word.
Robber, burglar. Yes.
Burglar, yes, and the burglar was walking the same seashore way as I was walking every day, and he left their European health insurance ID cards. He just threw it there. So I was going to catch the ants, and I found the healthcare insurance card. Or some medicine which was very necessary for those Slovakian folks because it was very hard to get on that island.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
yes. So I was looking for the ends, and I picked their medicine, their ID card, and so on, and brought it back to them. Like, yeah, I did not find the ends, but I found your stuff.
But I found these termites. I'll trade you your stuff back for a
Yes,
box for these termites to put
yes,
these
yes, yes.
termites in.
So that's it.
That's funny.
That's how I found mine, and I don't remember what was the point of the start of this, but
Well,
yeah.
that's how you started. Is that how you started then with termites? Is that one you found that one log and thought they were white ants? Was that the
Yes.
beginning of your termite fascination?
Yes, yes, but I was during that time. It was like 2008,
Okay.
2009, around these years. I was also in chat with one laboratory in Czech Republic, in Prague,
Okay.
and we are still in the touch. We are changing living material because they sometimes are searching for termites from different parts of Europe, and because they want to do their genetic studies, for example, and
Sure.
phylogenetic studies. So we are still in communication, and since then I found these first termites, or even before. But as I said, I forgot that there are termites occurring in Greece, and I can pick them. So that's the way. How did I start it this time?
It's so strange how it starts for everyone. All of my dumb hobbies now are because of the internet. So I see something on the internet. I could do that. I could keep termites. Oh, that would be great. So
Oh,
probably I shouldn't. You don't want free roam termites in your house, right? You want them contained.
well, let's say something about breeding termites because I think majority of people that's something that majority of people came here for. Well,
Okay.
when I got my first termites, I sucked the the process, or how to say that. I failed. Like a majority of people fail because they are trying to keep termites maybe a bit similar to ants, but they are not. They need their own space and own conditions, which are slightly different than ants. Usually you get a part of a colony or small colony, and you have to store it in some vial or in some glass tube, and there have to be some cellulose material, of course. Very fine for young colonies is like normal toilet paper or
Okay.
any unperfumed tissue, which is made out of paper. Uh, Cellulose tissue, anything like this, which is moistened and is stuffed into some glass vial, small glass jar, glass bank.
Okay.
You usually need very small space. Oh, and as the colony gets bigger, you just leave the royal pair or the colony in this setup for a few months, and as they get bigger, you just transfer this small glass vial or glass test tube to a bigger box or
Okay.
bigger jar or aquarium, and you place a new piece of wood nearby, and the termites will find their way. If those are not dry wood termites, because dry wood termites are very bad in infestation, new pieces of wood. Um, they're very slow in this process, but in general, this is the basics of the hobby is very easy.
Okay.
So
You just
I
have to
can
make
show
sure
you.
you follow the rules.
Yes, yes, I can show you. For example, here is damp wood termite colony, and there is a test tube which originally suited for a royal pair.
Okay.
And as the royal pair brought up their offsprings, so larvae, workers, and few minors, they started. Oh, they are there. Nice. Okay, I will try to zoom in. Do you see the orange spots
In the tube or on? Yes, on the tube.
in the tube?
Yes.
Those that is a royal pair, and there are some larvae, but I don't think it will be so visible.
I can see one largish orange spot in the middle, kind of. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and and basically that's what I will do with the young colony. I will connect the original tube with a royal pair and whole colony to a new piece of wood, and the termites, who the workers, will infest the wood.
That's awesome. That's
And
perfect.
here is some sand, and you have to moisten the sand depending on the species you are keeping. But in
Okay.
general, royal pairs are used to have swarms in a humid part of the year. So
Okay.
the whole material in here have to be somehow humid to simulate the natural conditions.
I love it. I love it. And then you have that.
But this process takes like 1 year. Like they can be 1 year in the small vial, small glass test tube, and then they can be in a box like this for another 2-3 years after they will eat the wood, and I will add a new piece of wood, and then I will just transfer them to bigger piece of wood.
Wow.
You understand? So it's really simple. It's not a rocket science. Orange dots. Well, the termite royal pair is usually well sclerotized. So that means they are their chitin is very hard and it's darker in color. The workers usually never get the orange color or the darker brown color because their chitin is weak, is softer. Oh, did you understand it, Josh?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the younger termites are almost like grubs, and I noticed that they do have like
yes,
the king and queen usually have that. They look more like an insect than
their
a grub.
yeah, yes, their exoskeleton is more hardened.
That makes sense. That makes
Yes,
sense.
so that's it. And when I have the colony, when I have the colony which is several years old, I transfer it to the box like this.
Oh wow.
There's
Okay.
also some layer of sand or soil. It depends on your choice. But soil is somehow better because termites can eat it and get some nutrients from it. And
Okay.
here is the original glass
Oh
tube.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I can see it.
but here are new pieces of wood, and I give them new wood like every 10 weeks, about 10 weeks. But
Okay.
it very depends on the colony I keep. Some colonies need every piece of wood like every year or just once within a year, and some colonies need adding new wood regularly. It depends on the size of the colony and other factors like temperature, because in high temperature the growth of the colony is so of course faster, and in lower temperatures the growth somehow
Yeah, yeah.
so
In
yeah. Yes, actually they are trying to get out. You
I
can see those connective tunnels
yeah.
leading here, but this species don't have a capability to chew through the plastic,
Okay.
or it's not something I have noticed or observed up to date. So I don't think they would escape.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be straight up divorced.
But
Wow.
but I have here, and this will fascinate you.
What is this? Oh yeah, you can see the.
Yes, they are very visible.
That's cool. Being able to see them just run around in there. So this is just filled with toilet paper, just kind of crammed in there, right?
Oh, yes, and piece of wood. But this
Okay.
technique, how to make this properly, I used to learn as a process. Uh, I don't know if it will be so visible, but this is very nice, very nice to observe. Well, where to find? Okay, and now here we are. It's a bit okay here. Can you see them?
Yes, but not much more than we could before. Bring it a little closer to the lens. Bring the tube a little closer to the lens, maybe. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So here they are.
They're very busy compared to the other tubes.
Yes, they don't like sunlight in
Okay.
general. So, and again, I forgot what was my point to show in here.
We were asking about the toilet paper, and then you said there was a way to do it.
Yes, this is the dry wood species which literally chewed out from my plastic box. But luckily, I stopped the process very early. I
Okay.
changed their box, and they chew out from another box, or they made their holes.
Okay.
So now I have to change their plastic boxes for a glass one. So but I have some glass at home. I will cut it by myself, make a aquarium of adequate size, which will suit to my breeding
Yeah.
wardrobe because I have my animals in a wardrobe, old, and that's the point. I have to change their box slightly. So
Into glass. Yeah, well, glass will
yes,
be pretty much
and
impossible for them to break through.
the glass as a material is ideal, and everything you have to do is to cover it with with the top slice of glass, and if there's remaining like 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters or 0.5 millimeters fissure,
Okay.
the gap for majority of termites, it's really enough. And
Wow.
they will even seal the gaps and leave the gap of size which they need. If the colony is big enough to reach to make a tunnel and reach the aquarium, uh,
Okay.
but you have to be careful in every termite species or in every setup you use. For example, this small box I was showing you in here, that if this is closed, it's airtight closed. So I made small hole in here,
Okay. And that's all they
and
need?
yes, and that's all air condition, all air ventilation they need. But to be sure that it won't lose its humidity so quickly, I put a small piece of tape in here and made even smaller hole into the tape.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
got the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, but if I would keep this box in a in a temperate uh, area, if I would, for example, heat my breathing wardrobe, and there will be some condensation on the walls,
Okay.
there can get some droplet and close this hole, and it can, and if here will be a very big colony which breathe more air, like than more air than this one do, um, here the animals can get suffocated. And this
Sure.
is one. So the termites like higher air humidity, closed box or with source of wood or cellulose for them. But you have to be careful about suffocation. This is, or on the other hand, of the hydration and drying out the content of your breeding box.
Oh, sounds very technical. Very
So it's
very
simple.
intense to watch it and
Yes,
make sure monitor.
it's quite simple, but this is something you when well, I fucked up very many colonies before I got all this experience, and I lost a lot of breeding material because of failures like this. And then I learned how to do it proper way. And you have to have some basic experience from terroristic, from keeping any other animals or from growing plants. So you should know how to give proper moisture, how to not over moisten your tank, or and stuff like this, which comes
Right.
with experience, literally.
Well, yeah, and then there's only so far the internet and the book can take you. You have to get your hands on
Yes,
and
yes.
do it and live it.
How many people are online in here? Because I cannot see the number
There
of
are two. We had three. There are two. This is very late for us for my main audience. So
yes.
they're gonna watch this. If you watch the
Either
numbers on
three.
this video, it'll come up the next couple days. It'll go up. I
Yes,
think
yes.
people are excited,
I was just curious.
and we've had a lot of good information. So um, this has been great. Thank you for coming on. And I want to have you on again in the future so we can cover some more in-depth, like focused information on termites. I'll come up
Okay,
with
no
some
problem.
specific questions about a specific species or two
Yes.
um, that we can talk about. So, but this was all very good information. So I know I'm more interested in keeping termites now. So I don't know about my other viewers. Victor maybe he's relatively new. I don't know about mantis either, but I am interested in keeping termites for sure. I was before, but now I totally am. I just thank you so much. It's fascinating, and for taking the time out of your morning. You're away from your
No
breakfast.
problem. When it comes to termites, and there's something I'm into, like
Yeah,
new setup, new topic, new species. I don't feel, I don't feel. I have to sleep.
right, right. I was gonna take a nap. I kept trying to take a nap tonight, and I was like, I can't, I can't. I'm too excited.
Yes,
So
yes.
now I'll go on my couch. But thank you so much. I don't mean to yawn. It's like almost getting close to 2 a.m. So I'm gonna be useless at work tomorrow or today, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. So again, thank you, Philip.
Yes, no problem.
I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Stay in touch. Post as much termite stuff as you want on ISO Buddies. I know people will appreciate it there too on that page.
We can make another chat in some time distance. It's up to you. We
Okay,
can choose some topics and discuss it.
perfect.
I hope this
Perfect.
was not too. I hope my language was easy to understand, and the topics I was explaining weren't too much, scientifical maybe, or spoken improperly. I don't know.
I think it was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. You had a lot of detail and a lot of care about what you were saying. It was very intentional. So, and I think that showed.
Okay, okay.
So, I think the audience will really appreciate it too. So, but thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming to this special midnight broadcast. 2 in 1 week. Tuesday night we're gonna talk about vernal pools. Are you familiar with vernal pools?
Pardon. What
It's
polls?
Vernal. So there would be like a still water that has microorganisms. So copepods, daphnia,
Yes, I understand. Yes, yes.
microworms, fairy shrimp. Um, Russ Wilson from Aquarimax got me started in it, and yeah, good night, good morning. So we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. So and
Okay,
then
and this is some kind of feeding for a fish, or some biologist who is working with.
it's mostly as fish food. Like it started as fish food, and now I'm fascinated by my tank. I have my vernal pool tank on my desk for my work, and I watch it. Like I'll be talking to customers and just watching my these little dots juke around.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
because it's cool. You can actually see with the naked eye the copepods with their egg sacs.
Oh,
And I
okay,
have,
okay, I understand now. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
This was
I,
also my topic when I was a kid. This was very interesting. To just to put a jar into a lake, bring it to the sun. And observe what's living in there.
yeah, what's in this dirt? And it's amazing to see
Yes,
what's there.
yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about on Tuesday. But this was great. I definitely, and I'll be picking your brain on Messenger or, well, probably not on Messenger because for some reason I can't contact you, but through Facebook, I'll be definitely talking to you. So thank
Okay,
you so much, Philip. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The two of you that tuned in
guys.
for the whole show, Victor. The Springtails love the water dishes in my terrariums. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Springtails love water. So thanks again, guys. Good night, and we'll see you Tuesday. And Philip, thank you again. Have a great
Okay,
day.
see you.
All
See
right.
you.